Now, the authorities in Manchester say they are struggling to cope with the number of refugees arriving and sleeping on the streets, many having started out in other parts of the country. Figures obtained exclusively by BBC North West show a sharp rise, as Kevin Fitzpatrick reports.
St Peter's Square in Manchester, and a growing community of refugees with nowhere to live. 35-year-old Maher from Yemen is among them.
I don't feel safety in my home country because I'm going to UK for searching about safety.
After being given the right to remain in the UK, he had to leave his Home Office-run hotel 2 weeks ago.
I sleep in the town hall because I don't have any place for going to. The cold, too cold. Something have rain, something have snow.
Abdullah has fled the war in Sudan. After being evicted from his hotel, he had 3 weeks sleeping rough before he found temporary accommodation.
It's very rough. Some people say UK is not like the UK we expected because we came from terrible conditions and we end up like in a terrible condition once again.
A charity helping the refugees says numbers have shot up in 6 months. From March to December, it supported more than 1,000 people. The vast majority are from Eritrea and Sudan. And nearly 2/3 have come to Manchester after being given refugee status elsewhere in the UK. In response, the City Council is funding this welcome hub to provide for basic needs.
What usually happens is people first come in for help with their food, with clothing or physiological needs, but then as they learn a little bit more about us, they can come into our training stream so we can help somebody maximise their income, help somebody find settled homes and help somebody get into work.
As they're young and single, these refugees won't get social housing. Is it frustrating that they're coming from elsewhere in the country and you're having to support them through this when others could be doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's a national issue and I think we need a national answer to it, really. Things like learning English, having access to training, and there is a campaign also to let them have the right to work. That would all help, because when the time comes when they get their decision to stay, they'll be more prepared.
At the moment, around 70% of asylum seekers are qualifying to remain in the UK. Salah, who's from Sudan, said Manchester will remain a popular destination.
Some of them, after they get the refugee status from other cities, after that they come to the Manchester because they think they have better opportunities in Manchester.
Oliver Ryan, this isn't a new issue, but it does seem that the number of people settling here is going up. And as we've been talking about pressure on councils, this is something, the homelessness issue is putting a lot of pressure on councils,
Absolutely.
Isn't it?
I mean, there's a few things that we've done and need to do more of. So we've tripled the support to councils to help with the homelessness crisis, which has gotten bigger over the last 10 years, you're quite right. But there is also something about the asylum system. We inherited what was essentially an open border system for asylum applications and very few people around to process them. So process wait times went from something like 3 months to almost 3 years in some cases, which meant that people were dotted around the UK just waiting for asylum applications to be seen. We're trying to process those people quicker, and where people are not here legally and legitimately, then we can deport them. And we've taken action to do that. 16,500 people since the election have been deported because of applications for asylum that were rejected.
It is an issue, though, isn't it, that they can't get social housing, they're not able to get training and employment, and that's leading to a lot of the problems we're seeing. What should change, Janet?
Well, there's no point actually pushing through the asylum process if you then have nothing to offer at the other end, and that's exactly what these people are experiencing. These are the people that have been given permission to stay. So deportation is really, really important, and I don't argue with that at all. But these are people that have a right to stay, and we are not supporting them as,
And so they should be allowed to work?
They should be allowed to work, they should be allowed to do the training they need. And what we find is that they are moving to the cities because that's where the resources are. That's where the opportunities are, as your person you interviewed said. But I think what's really important there is that you cannot find those same opportunities, those same resources in smaller towns. And I think the other thing we need to remember there is that it's actually up to the council where they were in asylum accommodation to meet their housing needs. We have a similar problem with some of our social care clients who are coming in from other areas.
Okay.
You do have a right as a local authority, and I would ask why Manchester is not actually saying to the host authorities, come on, it's time for you to help us.
All right. Thank you. We've run out of time, but thank you very much to Oliver Ryan and to Janet Clowes. Join us again at the same time next week. Bye-bye.